Well, this is going to be an exciting day because all we do is laugh and joke, and we've been having a fabulous time behind the scenes here. We're also going to get a lot of overhead tables for 2, for 3, because we're down at the Pepper Mill, obviously at the lounge. And it's busy today, so we're going to get a lot of interference. But it's not really interference, it's part of our scene. It's what we do, it's how we act and what's going on. We have Lance Pavin with us today, and of course, he's been on our show many, many times. And of course, we are also with Vegas Live with Ninon. I have my great co-host here, which is Katie. Katie, I love your green jacket.
Thank you. Enoch, Augusta Scott from Zombie Burlesque gave it to me as a gift.
Oh, how sweet. Oh, some people get gifts. Did that, where's
some
mine?
People do. You get so many gifts. Everyone's like, oh, I didn't know you had a coat.
Anyway, Lance, it's lovely to have you back
again. Thank you for having me.
I love having Lance on because we actually go into a different dimension of Vegas. And we're going to be talking about cannabis. Yeah, cannabis. How about cannabis? Cannabis, yeah, we're going to talk about cannabis.
We can talk about that.
That's very much into what you do.
I know.
And you've healed so many people with the cannabis and helping them so much, and them not to be afraid of it. Because a lot of people think that cannabis is marijuana. Oh, well, it is in a way.
It's a slang term.
It's a slang term, but it doesn't do the same as what marijuana does. You'll have a different way to the body.
People are just misinformed, so we like to kind of educate them.
So that's what you do all the time. Lance actually educate you on how to take it. And the reason that I wanted Katie on for this section is because she has a problem. You have a problem.
Well, it's not a problem. It's an autoimmune disease. It's lupus.
Yes.
So it's it is something that it affects my day to day.
Yes, it's affecting you a lot today, and maybe because of the dampness of the weather or something. Yes. I don't know. You were just saying to me that you had great results from another patient that has lupus.
We've seen a lot of people, because a lot of autoimmune disorders like lupus, fibromyalgia, Lyme disease have very similar symptoms. A lot of them are anti-inflammatory, and the body's supposedly attacking itself. People have flare-ups, joint pain. So these are little things actually slowing down. That's one of the great things about cannabis. The receptors that it's working on tends to, number one, reduce inflammation, help with pain, help with joint stiffness. People are like, why are we just finding out about this? Without invasive side effects.
Well, I know why we're just finding out about it, because it's becoming, we both know, we all know, probably, I don't know if you know, but obviously we do not want cannabis out there, we do not want marijuana out there. Well, this is now too late.
It's out.
It's out.
The secret's out.
The secret is out. And if I remember rightly, many, many thousands of years ago, that the cannabis was very much out of a plant to heal people. And most people don't like to know that because they like to hide it once again. How can you help her with lupus? Because you don't take cannabis at the moment, do you?
I don't take
Are you
anything.
opposed to it?
I'm not opposed to it. I am leaning. Now that I've had it for over 10 years. So I've been diagnosed.
You've had lupus for 10 years?
Yes, I've been diagnosed with it over 10 years. I think I've had it since I was 16. So, anyway, I was pumping my body full of chemicals, and there was one, I was taking hydroxychloroquine, which is made for malaria. And that made me feel really good, but it made me look really sick. I had yellow skin, I had dots all over myself, I got really, really skinny.
That's absolutely awful.
It was. And so then, but I'll take that ibuprofen now if I need it. Like if I'm like, I'm in a little bit of pain, so I'm going to take ibuprofen. So I try not to take any super crazy chemicals, because I just can't, my body can't handle it anymore.
And that's the best approach, honestly. Because here's the thing is that God put plants here. That's why our body responds to plants.
Yes.
Everything that's synthetic, which doctors make, they don't understand how the body works. If we understood how the body works, why do people get sick? No. So what ends up happening is with plants, let's say something like echinacea, which also will stimulate your endocannabinoid system, will strengthen your immune system without being toxic to your liver, to your kidneys, and this is one of the side effects of certain drugs. We're all genetically different. We're like snowflakes. Yes. So what happens is if you're taking something and I'm taking something, we'll have 3 different effects.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why side effects are so far reaching. No one can say this is what's going to happen to her versus me. We don't know, and you find out when you take it. And that's the problem, long-term usage, because none of these drugs are meant for long-term. They end up causing another side effect.
I've often wondered why they do go long-term, because normally you have a drug for 4 days, or you have a drug for 2 weeks. But
I can explain that. That's I mean, because you become a
That
customer.
was simple, wasn't it? It's money.
You become a customer. So my thing is when consulting for people, it's number one, showing them something that they were told was impossible.
Yes.
Right? Once you start feeling better, you start to say, oh, wait a minute, what else is impossible that I was told? Because really what I want is, cannabis to me is a stepping stone. And I'm a medical patient. Cannabis is a stepping stone to your faith. That's the people are like, well, I don't understand that. Well, there's a lot of things that you've been told
But we don't
that are wrong.
Yes.
But when you start seeing something like, wait a minute, my joints aren't hurting, I'm not high. That's the thing, is that people think if I'm taking this, am I going to be able to function?
Yes.
And that's why dosage comes into play. See, there's still a lot of misinformation that's being spread out
But
there.
but they put that out there purposely,
Absolutely.
just to
Absolutely.
detour all of us to make sure that we have that little basket in the chemist, or the pharmacy as we call it in America. In England we call it the chemist. But they have that little basket full of all different medications. And I saw one time there was like 10 medications for one person. And I was like, are they going to take all that? They're going to all contradict each other.
Yes, and that becomes the other issue. Contraindications, different drugs.
Yes, they contradict each other. Then you get something else, and you say, well, why do I have that? Well, who put those in?
And that's the issue, is that everyone says, well, we need more clinicals. And I go, I hate to tell everyone, every drug that's ever been pulled had a clinical. It had white papers. The FDA approved it and then pulled it. So what does this show? How does that show you? What does that prove if you're taking a drug and it gets pulled 2 years later? Well, they already saw this. They just released it anyway. And
But
interesting.
also, I've noticed in the ads on television, they talk about, I'm not going to say any particular pill, but they talk about, now be careful, it could cause death, it could do this, it could do that. They're actually telling the audience what this can do, and they still go out and buy it.
It's a cognitive dissonance where you have two things registering in your brain at the same time. Which one do you pick? How can you have two opposing ideas and believe both? And so that's the thing. I mean, I'll pull out a drug, not specifically, something like statins. Tons of people use for cholesterol, right? Because it's supposed to lower your cholesterol. Well, they found with certain drugs, certain specific names we won't get into, maybe the top selling one, started to pull healthy cholesterol out of your brain. What? See, we naturally make cholesterol.
So, yes, of course we do.
And that could be actually causing a link to Alzheimer's. And you can trace when these drugs are released at the same time the disease rises. How is that still sold? And this has been proven by biophysicists, doctors. So you start to see this, you go, wait a minute, what am I taking? Because then there's zero liability. If you take a drug and you have a problem with this, sue the pharmaceutical company. How are you going to go up against $1 trillion company?
Why would you? I mean, why would you do that? Now, Lance, you have been taking cannabis for some time.
Yes.
And you obviously prescribe. By the way, Lance is not a doctor, so we don't. That's not to pretend that he's not a doctor, but he does love the doctors because he likes to talk to them about cannabis.
Yes.
But you took cannabis for some time
Yes.
because of whatever reason. I mean, we won't go into that.
Oh, I can explain that.
Yeah. Why did you do it? Why did you do it?
Initially, in 2009, I was hit head-on by a drunk driver and almost severed my spine in half. So C4, C5, and C6 were almost ripped in half.
Okay.
And it produced bilateral tremors in both sides of my body.
Okay.
And I had gone at the time to see neurologists. They said that's impossible. How is it impossible? I have it.
I have it.
Through a lot of natural healing and exercise and stuff, it helped. But I would always still have little side effects. I had trouble sleeping, pain, and so I wouldn't take any of the drugs because my background's in herbal psychopharmacology, so I know how these things work and interact.
So you didn't take anything?
No.
So you started to take cannabis?
Yes.
And did it solve the problem?
Yes.
It did.
It helped range of motion, helped sleep, it took away the pain, the tremors went away.
Amazing. And now I found out, as I went to see him last week, that now you're not taking it.
No.
Is that because you feel you are cured?
There's a jump, and it's weird. If I'm consulting for someone, I have to not just what I say. If I do something different, that people will be like, you're a hypocrite.
Yes.
So when I'm saying something, I want to mirror that of
Yes.
what my life is. So the key thing is with people now that I consult for, there's a lot of stuff coming into this world, let's say on the disease realm, that's far beyond comprehension. Beyond comprehension.
Yes.
And so I'm telling people with plants, you'll get your immune system to a certain point.
Yes.
When you start to see things like, cancers 1 and 2, that's at a statistic that's at a point, it's going to be every one.
When he says 1 and 2, he's talking about cancer. 1 in 2 people get it. That's what he's saying.
Yes, that's what I'm
People
saying.
understand.
And so if medicine and technology is so advanced, how's that possible? How are disease and that rising at the same time? So with plants, it's a way of strengthening your immune system.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, your faith is what will keep you healthy. Once you understand that, people go, well, I have a hard time believing that. Well, they told you that cannabis didn't work either. You didn't believe that. So my thing is, don't worship the creation, worship the creator. And that will start to change and open up a lot of different paths.
A lot of different paths.
A lot of different paths.
And also, I just want to mention, Lance, is also, you started your own show, right?
But yes, it's all for the show. Yes.
Yes.
Of course, you
talk about your show.
Go on.
Yeah, I want to talk about
Yes.
Yeah, you started your new show.
Yes.
And where can people see it?
It's going to be online.
Online
Streamed
and everywhere.
online.
And what is the name of the show?
It's called Hope and the Truth.
Hope and the Truth.
We're shooting it at the Veteran Resource Center, which is a facility off in Aliante, which helps transitional, the whole family. So veterans, when they come out, there's not really programs that are offered. So they have a beautiful facility they offer at the studio to shoot the show, which is great. We've worked with this organization before. And the premise of the show is two very easy things. Renewing hope. The first thing is renewing people's hope so they understand that you have hope. And number two, strengthening your faith. And by doing those two things, people actually, and I've always told people this, if you're taking cannabis, the two things, when we've tracked this, because we've tracked it, people who get the best results, cannabis and prayer. And some people laugh and I go, okay, here's 500 people. You can start to look at the statistics and I go, what are you going to argue with? Because really all it takes is one person. If you get results, do you care if 10,000 doctors tell you it doesn't work?
It doesn't make any difference. It's what and it's a funny thing, but we sure do know our own body. So when we take stuff or when we do stuff or when we do something unusual, we have a reaction.
Yes.
When we go over here, we have another reaction. So we have, but we also know what we need. Yesterday morning I was very sick. All day long I was so sick. And I was just told by one of my producers that was the reason my brain can't, the stomach starts first, right? And so my stomach was telling me to lie low. Now, when I've been eating, I felt fine, and it sort of rectified itself. But I did follow through with what, not even knowing, I didn't know that everything started from the stomach. I never knew that. So I found out something new, so you're never too old to find out something new. Never too old. So maybe this idea, taking cannabis for lupus might help her too.
And even if you don't choose that, there's other herbal alternatives that can help that are not going to cause damage to your liver or your kidneys.
You need to have a good chat with Lance. Privately.
Not on camera, yeah.
You could do it on camera.
No one really wants to know the dirty details of my life.
So you're helping the veterans now. All veterans need help. Because I just had something on the news this morning that the veterans, they were all given appointments, but they did not really know they had an appointment, but it was for the hospitals or the facility to get money from the government by having these appointments down there that a lot of these veterans didn't even have an appointment, but they put them down so they could get money. And I hate to say that, but that's what it is.
Yeah. And you're only telling the truth. My thing is this, is that people say, I can't do anything. And I go, no, you can.
Yes, you can.
Get out there, and if you affect one life, you've done something. If you're relying on other people to do something, they're not going to do it. People look at the, let's just say government, to get stuff done, and they complain, well, they're not doing it. So do something.
Well, why don't you do it?
There's this all or nothing attitude where I either help 50 people or I help no one. Well, what about you help one? That's making an effective change.
What about just happened with this bomb and everything? This woman saw this bomb, this pipe bomb, and she took it to her own initiative to phone the police department. Look how many lives this woman just saved. Right. By doing something. This woman actually took her own initiative, went and phoned the police department. So more of you understand what this world is.
Yeah.
Don't be so, maybe, I hate to say this word, selfish, but kind of look out for other people.
Think of ways to change the world and do them.
Yeah, because we're all people.
Yeah, that's
people
really
together.
honest.
This is what you're doing. I mean, you've helped so many people now.
I'm just a messenger.
Isn't that sweet? You're just a messenger. Well, on that, we've gone actually over our time on this particular show. But that's definitely worthwhile because we're trying to help other people out there and to help them with their life and how you can help them. You have your own show now, and maybe we can help you with the lupus. So everything is good. Everything is on the up and up. Isn't that amazing? We'll be right back with Vegas Live with Ninon.